Hey there, welcome to the channel. Greetings from beautiful, slightly cloudy Koh Samui today. In this video, I wanted to go over another one of the most common questions that I get asked from viewers on the channel, and that is, what are the best visa options to choose from if you're looking to stay in Thailand long term, so longer than a year? And luckily, there are quite a few different visa options to choose from. In this video, I'm just going to be going through them. And keep in mind, I am not a professional legal consultant, and I'm going to be doing all of this from memory. So I may get a few things wrong in the video, but just know that going into it, right? So first of all, I'm going to go over visa option number one, which is the tourist visa. This is how you will most likely enter Thailand. It's how most people come here when they're first starting. And it's usually valid for 30 days, which is extendable an extra 30 days. So most likely you get 60 days. There's roughly 62 countries around the world that offer visa exemptions. So in other words, when you first enter Thailand, you won't even need a visa. United States is one of those visa exempt countries, just so you know. And there's other countries, like I think there's 5 or so, that allow you to come in on 90 days. I can't remember what they are off the top of my head, but I know Russia is one of them. So yeah, that's something that you'll have to do a little bit of research on. But yeah, tourist visa is definitely the best option when you're first entering, and then you can always apply for, let's say, a retirement visa or a non-B visa. We'll get to those a little bit later in the video, while you're outside of the country at your Royal Thai Consulate, wherever you are, abroad. But for most people, like I say, they're just going to come in under tourist visa or visa exempt. And then after that, you've got a bunch of different options to choose from, including the retirement visa. So obviously that doesn't apply to me. I'm only 37 years old. You need to be 50 to get your retirement visa. And you also need to have 800,000 baht put into a Thai bank account. So that's something that you're going to need to open while you're overseas, or more likely, probably once you arrive in Thailand, then you can open your bank account. But in order to do that, you will need the retirement visa or a work permit, which I'll get to a little bit later in this video. But most likely, if you're applying for the retirement visa, you will need that in order to open the bank account, and then you have to put 800,000 baht into the bank. Now, if you don't have 800,000 baht in savings, then you're not retired. Let's just be honest, right? Because that's only about $25,000. If you don't have that in savings, then you're not going to qualify most likely for the retirement visa. Now keep in mind, there are ways to kind of shortcut, or there's a loophole where you can essentially pay a visa agent and they deposit the 800,000 baht in your bank account, and then they just take it right back out again after the retirement visa is secured. But in most cases, it's better to go the proper route, just put the 800,000 baht in there, right? And then you will also need to be making 65,000 baht per month in pensions. And this needs to be consistent income every month. So 65,000 baht is roughly $1,800 per month in pensions, or, could be some other source of income as well. But I think most likely it's just going to be pensions that you're getting for your retirement, for the company that you worked for many, many years in order to retire, right? So that's, the retirement visa in a nutshell. And then also you have to be over 50 years old. So those are the 3 requirements to get the retirement visa. I get a lot of questions on this channel about people that are looking to retire and move on over to Thailand. So definitely want to make sure to do that one justice. And by the way, if you have any questions at all, there's a link in the description below to my website where you can schedule a consultation call to speak with me one-on-one. So just know that. Then another, obviously, if you're not retired, then you need to be either working in Thailand, or let's say you have an online business, you can work remotely, you're earning an income outside the country, so that's foreign earned income, which is going to be taxed. There's a new Thai tax law, which you may or may not have heard about, where they're going to start taxing foreign earned income. But in this particular video, I'm not going to get into that in too much detail because, to be honest, a lot of people still don't really know if it's official yet, or, you know, what the situation, what the deal is with that. So I'm not going to touch on it too much in this video. In this particular video, I just want to go over the different visa options that you have to choose from. And luckily in Thailand, there are numerous options. Whereas some of the other Southeast Asian countries, including the Philippines, it's a lot more difficult. And yeah, so we're not gonna talk about that too much. Also, I will say that Thailand doesn't offer a digital nomad visa, but they do have something similar to a digital nomad visa, which is called a smart visa. But first, I want to talk a little bit more about the work permit. So in order to get the work permit, you will need to, you know, most likely be sponsored by a company over here. So if you can get sponsored, then you can basically get the work permit under that particular company, or you can, you know, work out a deal where essentially you pay for the work permit and they get everything set up in terms of open, you know, getting a bank account, business account, hiring. They already have the Thai staff most likely, and also salary. So sometimes they'll pay you a salary, sometimes it's only Social Security, and even if you're not Thai, you're, you know, a foreigner, you're still only getting Social Security, which doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. But they're always looking for ways to cut corners and costs, in my opinion. So the work permit, honestly, I wouldn't really recommend it for most people because, you know, I don't want to say anything bad about working for a Thai company, but I've done it 3 times now, and overall, it's not for me. It's just kind of a complicated process. A lot of times you're not even really getting paid a salary in certain cases. So yeah, for most people, I would recommend just working remotely for a company, let's say in your home country, and then you're getting a really good salary, which will go a long ways here in Thailand, right? So that's my recommendation. But if you do want to get the work permit, you're going to be required to first get a non-immigrant B visa, which is either for 3 months, single entry, or 1 year, which you can then extend an additional year every year for, I believe, up to 5 years. Correct me if I'm wrong. So that's something that you have to do overseas, abroad, at the Royal Thai Consulate. And then they give you the non-B visa for 3 months, single entry. Then once that expires, you can start the process to apply for the work permit. So this whole process is a little bit complicated. I had to go to Penang and then go to the Royal Thai Consulate and then have all of these documents in order to get the non-B and then convert that over to a work permit, right? So a little bit complicated, and again, I would recommend just working for a company. Working for a company in your home country, or better yet, just start your own online business, such as a YouTube channel, and that way you're collecting foreign earned income. It's just getting deposited in your bank account every month, and you don't have to worry too much about working for somebody else. You're your own boss. You have your own online business. This is what I would recommend. But if you do want to go to work permit route, and you know, you want to make sure everything's legally taken care of, if you're working for other clients in Thailand, that would be your best option, right? And then in addition to the work permit, you've also got what's called a smart visa, which I was personally on for 6 months before converting it into a work permit. And that one is definitely a little bit more difficult to get approved for. You need to have an innovative idea, concept, proof of concept for a startup that you're looking to launch that will directly benefit the economy in Thailand. This is the number one thing that you have to prove when you're creating your pitch deck for the Smart Visa. And I will say that it took me 2 times of rejection before I got approved on the 3rd attempt. So you know what they say, 3rd time's the charm. I was able to get approved for that Smart Visa for a virtual tour startup that I was launching over here in Thailand. And then I ended up finding a company that was much further ahead. They've been doing it 18 years. Basically what I was doing for the startup. Hello. Hello. For YouTube. So yeah, the startup, and then I just converted that over to a work permit. But the Smart Visa is a really good option for, like I say, if you're looking to launch a startup over here. Maybe you want to join a company, you can get the talent visa. So sometimes you could get sponsored for that. And then they also have like an investor visa if you're looking to invest over 10 million baht in, let's say, real estate property, or you know, buying land. Well, not buying land because it's not possible for foreigners to buy land, but other things, right? Investing. And they have a few other ones, like an executive one, and then I think one for a spouse as well. So you can basically get the Smart Visa, and you can sponsor your children or your spouse under under the Smart Visa as well. So that's another option. And the nice thing about Smart Visa is, at least for the 6-month startup visa, you don't need to show proof of funds in your bank account. So unlike the retirement visa where you need to put 800,000 baht deposited into a bank account, you don't need to do that for the first 6 months under the Smart Startup Visa. I believe that's the only one that has this qualification. So that's one of the reasons I chose that route. And then once you extend it past 6 months, it's valid up to 2 years. You can extend it up to 2 years. Then you will need to deposit, I believe it's either 600,000 or 800,000 into a bank account. And then you also have to register the company as well. So you have to register the company, you got to hire the 3 Thai staff, and then give majority share of the company to them, so 51%. This is one thing that makes a lot of people nervous when they're launching a business, is they don't want to give majority share to Thai shareholders. And I would say for good reason, but most of the time it's nothing much to worry about. They're just on paper. They don't really have any day-to-day involvement in the business. And yeah, it's just basically a way to protect Thailand's interests, essentially. And this also goes into when you're buying a house as well. You need to give up majority share, and then you register a company, you buy the house under the company. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. So there's all these little rules that you kind of figure out after a while you've been living here. And in this video, yeah, I just want to share value and, you know, just inform people about the different options that you have if you're looking to come over here and stay here in Thailand long term. Now, if you want to launch a business in Thailand, that's another thing you could do. And again, you'll have to get the non-immigrant visa, B visa, but this one is for 1 year. So versus the work permit, which is 3 months, you get the non-B visa for 1 year, and then, or maybe it's also 3 months, and then you can extend it up to a year. I believe that's the correct one. So then once you have that, you can launch the business, you register the company, put the Thai shareholders in there, and that's essentially what's involved for the business. And I think you also have to show proof of funds in your bank account as well, but I'm not exactly sure how much. So those are the different options for, you know, if you're retired, if you want to work for a company over here, if you want to launch your own startup, and then also start your own business under the non-B visa. Now, there's another option. So there's quite a few options to choose from. This is one of the really good things about Thailand versus some other countries in Southeast Asia, which make it a little bit more difficult. You can also get an LTR visa, which is short for long-term resident visa. And that's different than, what is it called? Where you come over here, a citizenship, right? So the citizenship is very difficult to qualify. You need to be here for at least, I think it's 10 years. You also need to be able to speak the Thai language, practically fluently. So this one is kind of out of the books for most people, myself included. And I don't really want to become a citizen here anyway. I just want to find other things that I can do, right? So that one, the LTR visa, I actually have friends who are retired, and one of them he's on his LTR visa. Another one is still in the process of getting approved for the LTR visa. And for that one, similar to the Smart Visa, they're both under the BOI, Board of Investment here in Thailand, which is a government office located in Bangkok. That's where you have to go to collect the visa, both the Smart Visa and the LTR visa, under the same organization. And both of them have 5 different visa types. Now, for the LTR visa, there's the visa type wealthy pensioners. So if you're retired and you've got a lot of money in savings, then that's most likely you would qualify for. Wealthy pensioner. And then they've also got wealthy global citizens. They have one for remote work professionals. So this is for specifically if you're working remotely for a company, let's say in your home country, and you're making a certain amount. I think it has to be $80,000 per year. So definitely not, just anybody can get this visa. It has very high qualifications, requirements. And you also have to be working for the company for, I believe, 1 year. And so that's an option, like I say, similar to a digital nomad visa, although not really the same, right? It's same, but different. And difficult to qualify for, right? So, but that is a really good option if you want to stay here for, I believe that one is for 10 years. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. And it's only 50,000 baht. And I'm pretty sure that's for the entire length of the visa. It's not like a recurring charge every year. It's 50,000 baht flat out. So that's roughly $1,500 USD for a 10-year visa. But now obviously keep in mind, it's quite difficult to qualify for, right? It's not for everyone. And if you look at the website, it actually has a breakdown of how many people have collected their LTR visa, and it's a very, very small number, even for the wealthy global citizens and the pensioners, right? So yeah, I would recommend personally, if you want to stay over here long term, just get the Smart Visa. Figure out an idea for a startup that can benefit the Thai economy, and then apply for that Smart Visa. It might take a couple different tries. If you want to shortcut your success, then you can schedule a call on my calendar on my website, because I've already been down this path. I know what's involved. Took me 3 tries to get approved for the Smart Visa, so be happy to help you however I can. Unfortunately, I'm no longer on my Smart Visa. I had to give it up when I switched over to the company. But yeah, just know that. And you also have, for the retirement visa, you've got 2 different options, the OA visa or the OX visa. Now, the OX visa is for 5 years, extendable up to 10 years, and you will have to apply for that abroad in your home country or at the Royal Thai Consulate in Thailand, right? So that's the OX visa. Again, you need to be over 50 years old. And then the OA visa is for 1 year. And then that's extendable every year. I think it's around 9,000 baht total. So just under $300 USD to extend your retirement visa. And again, obviously you have to be over 50 years old to get that visa. And then the last, I think, well, they also have the elite visa, which I have a friend who's on. He just recently bought a house here in Koh Samui. A brand new house. I think it's still under construction. I'm gonna meet him later this week. But yeah, he left, I think he lived in Florida for many years, and he decided to make a move over to Thailand, in particular Koh Samui. Got that elite visa, which is valid for, I wanna say 10, 15 years, but it's also quite expensive as well. So they set a really high bar in terms of the price of this elite visa. I think it's around a million baht, so $30,000 USD. But nice thing about that visa is you have elite privileges, like they'll pick you up at the airport in a limousine. I believe you maybe don't need to do a 90-day report as well, although I could be wrong. I think you still need to do the 90-day report, which basically just proves that you're still in the country. And this is something you have to do on almost every visa, including the work permit and retirement visa as well. Smart visa, I actually didn't have to do it for the 6-month one. No 90-day report required. So that was kind of nice. And yeah, so elite visa is also an option. But again, it's not for everyone. It's mostly for people that have a lot of money and they want to just not have to worry about the visa anymore. They get the elite visa done for 10 years, and then I think you can extend it as well. And then last but not least, we have the marriage visa, right? The non-immigrant O visa. And this one, I still don't know too much about because I haven't done too much research into it, but that one is also for 90 days. You collect the non-immigrant O visa, and then you can extend it basically every year. And that also includes, it doesn't actually include a work permit, but you can get that later. And I was just having a conversation about this topic yesterday with some friends, where essentially, if you have a Thai partner or spouse, then you can register the work permit under your Thai partner's name, the work permit, and then it ends up being a lot cheaper, and you also don't need to hire all the Thai staff and all that sort of thing, as far as I understand it. Whereas if you register a work permit as a foreigner, my friend paid like 150,000 baht for the work permit, and then he also needs to pay Social Security benefits every month, and it ended up being quite expensive. Whereas if you do it under your Thai partner's name, it's quite a bit cheaper, right? And then she got 51%. Then I think you can hire the Thai staff. You're probably required also to hire the Thai staff. I'm sure you must be. That's just how it works over here. But it ends up being a lot cheaper. So then, once you have that, you can always switch over to the marriage certificate. But again, this isn't going to be for most people unless you have a partner over here, right? And you're going to get married and you plan on staying with this person for a long time. Then this can also be a really good option, right? Oh, I'm getting a little bit out of breath now. I'm just talking nonstop, and it's a little bit hot and humid today. But yeah, in this video, I just wanted to share value and discuss this topic because it is one of the more common questions that I get asked on the channel. And again, keep in mind, I'm not a legal professional. I'm not a visa attorney or agent or anything like that. I just want to share knowledge based on the research that I've done and everything that I've learned over the past 4 years, and hopefully it's valuable to viewers of my channel. Again, in this video, zero editing. I'm going to continue doing more and more videos like this because I find that they're starting to get a lot of views, And YouTube as a platform is continuing to push this type of content that keeps people engaged as long as possible. And I think one of the ways to do that is with very little to no editing, right? So it's just me walking around Samui, dropping knowledge, sharing value. And again, if you have any questions about any of this stuff whatsoever, maybe you're looking to come over to Thailand and retire here, you want to stay long term, you're over 50 years old, you've got, you know, plenty of savings in the bank and all that stuff, then I highly recommend applying for either your OA or your OX visa. Again, the OA is for 1 year and the OX is for 5 years, extendable up to 10 years, right? Then also, they're building a lot of houses around here as well. Even on this road here, you can see, you know, there's always new construction, which is sometimes a little bit sad to see because they're knocking down all of the beautiful palm trees. But this one, for example, 12 million baht for a, what is that, a 3-bedroom? It's a 3-bedroom pool villa, brand new house. They're still under construction at the moment, but there's definitely a lot of new properties being built in Samui, which is, I would say, overall a net positive for the economy, and obviously more and more people moving over here. For the house, though, you will need to buy it under a company. So you register the company and then you buy the house under that. And then again, you will need to give majority share to the Thai, basically the Thai staff, right? Similar to when you're setting up a company or, you know, starting your own business over here. That's just the way it works. And like I mentioned earlier, it's mostly to protect Thailand's interests. They don't want a bunch of foreigners coming over here and just buying up all the land, finding loopholes and buying a bunch of land, which I'm sure there's ways to do that. But most likely, you know, you can't buy land here as a foreigner. Now, there is a way to do it actually as an American, only for Americans. There's what is called an amity company. So essentially, you can set up an amity company, you get 100% ownership of the company, only for Americans. And there is another way also under the BOI. You can set up what's called a BOI sponsored company, and then you can buy land under that company as well, which is something I think a lot of people don't know about. But again, that's going to be very tough to qualify for. You need to be in business for, I want to say, like 10 years. You need to invest a ton of money, like over 10 million baht, or maybe more. It could probably even more than that. So yeah, that's not really an option for most people either. But you know, there's really no need to buy land. Just get the house, and you can own the house on top of the land, but you can't own the land itself, right? That's just how it works, as far as I understand, right? So that's what most of my friends do while they're over here. They're buying houses. I have another friend who just recently bought a house. It was 21 million baht. So he bought that house. He owns it. Well, he doesn't own it, but he owns the company. And yeah, so he just bought that, and it's very close to the airport. It's a very nice, it's like a 3-story house, almost brand new, looks like. And you can actually watch the planes take off and land from the house, which is kind of cool, but it also gets loud as well. So the planes are very loud when they're coming in for a landing or taking off. But yeah, it's a great location. And, you know, he's obviously done very well for himself over the years. Many successful businesses. I think he's been very successful with affiliate marketing over the years, and probably many other things as well. So yeah, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, it's kind of all about who you know. And you know what they say, your network is your net worth, which personally, that saying has never made all that much sense to me, because you can have a very, very large network and still not have much net worth, right? But it rhymes and it sounds cute, so most people just swear by it anyway, right? But yeah, just wanted to make a video sharing this. It's going on about 30 minutes long now. And I think I'm just going to put this up on the channel. Hopefully, if you have any questions whatsoever, let me know. Drop a comment down below. And again, all the links in the description below where you can browse my courses, check out my website, and then I have a newsletter as well, which you can register for, all completely free. And then also a Patreon too, if you want to support me on a monthly basis. I have that Patreon too. So with that being said, take care, stay safe. Till the next one, peace from Koh Samui.